Okay, great. Well, we're going to get started. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Dr. Ryan Ross. I serve as the facilitator for the Park Hill Golf Course Steering Committee, and so I've been joining the steering committee members over the last few months as they are exploring the visioning process. And part of that process is hearing from community members. And at each of our meetings, there's an opportunity to have public comment. And then there have been a couple of open houses. However, the steering committee and others definitely wanted to have more face time with the community and to hear from members of the community in greater detail. And that's what tonight is about. So tonight we're here as an opportunity to hear from you guys, from members of the community. And so you will be in small groups where you will have some discussion questions. We encourage you to engage in that conversation, use the chat feature, definitely share everything that you can and that you're thinking. You'll be working with members of the members of the steering committee, as well as members from the city who joined in an administrative capacity to help capture all of the thoughts and things shared tonight. Tonight, those things will be captured on a tool called Miro. And so once you're into your breakout rooms, you'll be able to see that and engage with that tool, write things down, utilize the chat feature again. And obviously, if you have any questions at any time, just speak up and ask your group facilitator who should be able to get you all squared away. And so the format for tonight, we're going to go into breakout groups for about 45 minutes. Your facilitator will do a welcome, have you guys introduce yourselves, give a quick overview. You will discuss and answer several questions on the Miro board. And then in your group, you'll select an individual who will come back at the end of the meeting and just kind of give a broad overview of what you discussed. And so that'll be about 5 minutes per group. It doesn't need to be an exhaustive summary, but a summary that captures the highlights and the heart of your conversation. And so definitely, if you're one of those folks who doesn't want to talk, say not it very fast when you get into your small group and select someone to get that done for you. But ultimately, tonight is about you. It's about your voice. And the information that you share is going to be shared with the steering committee, and they're going to be using that information in addition to all the other information that they've received over the last few months in this process. There was a question in the chat. Let me go to there really quick so make sure I caught that. Will you report, the question in the chat from Christine is, will you report all feedback, even if not in summary, from breakout group? So the answer is whatever we capture is that's all that information is going to be captured and given to the steering committee. So whether you share it in chat, share it on Miro, or discuss it, all the things. The only thing that won't be shared are things that you don't discuss. So definitely share the information and the things that you have, and all of that information will be captured and shared in raw form. And they'll be able to, this meeting is also recorded, so they have the option to go back and watch some pieces of the meeting and see the Miro board and all those things. So you'll be in your small groups for about 45 minutes, and then we'll come back, do the report out for about 20 minutes. At that time, I'll kind of come in and give some quick goodbyes, but we will be done at about 7:15, 7:20 at the latest. And again, I just want to take a quick moment on behalf of the steering committee and say thank you for being here. There are so many things that you could be doing tonight. You can be at your family, you can be having dinner, you can still be at the park while it's still light out, but you're here engaging in community. And so just want to say thank you for that. It's really, really important to hear your voices. So again, thank you for being here. And with that, Courtney, I will turn it over to you to get us going in our breakout groups.
Yep. And I believe we do have a city council member in attendance tonight. just wanted to acknowledge that Councilwoman Sita Baca, I did see her name in the list. So.
All right, Councilman Candy Sita Baca, thank you for being here. I didn't see your name when I flashed through the screen, but if you're here, thank you for being here and all you do for the community, engaging. To any other elected official that we have, please charge it to my eyesight and not my heart, because my screen is only so big. But thank you for being here and joining the community in this process.
Mm-hmm. All right. And with that, I will put us into breakout groups. And if you didn't pre-register or you registered late, please be patient and I will put you into a breakout group. And if you're not with the right group, let us know and we can work through that. So, and with that, I will put it to the breakout groups. I see there are some not assigned to a breakout room, correct? Right here.
How do you get assigned to a breakout room?
When you pre-registered, oh, I don't understand. Maybe you logged on with a different name because I have you in this group right here.
You got me as Woody, but I couldn't find that invitation, so I re-registered just now.
Okay, you should be in. I should be sending you to a new breakout group momentarily. Okay.
So Courtney, you're establishing the groups, is that?
Yeah, yep. And I did the majority, about 80 people before, and then just a few people. If you registered a little bit late, I didn't have an opportunity to send you to a breakout group, but I'm doing that now.
Gotcha. And it's all like random, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
Hi, this is Michael. Can you hear me, Courtney?
Who? Pardon?
Michael Cosnet.
Hi.
I registered by email, but I joined now because I had to pick up my dog at the vet hospital.
I'm
on my cell phone. She's doing okay, thanks. I'm on my cell phone, but I'm going to be home in a few minutes. If I join by Zoom, will I be able to pick up and?
And Herman, I see you there. When you registered, there was a question if you wanted all parks in open space for your vision, or what's most exciting to you. What did you select?
Mixed use, a large park and some development.
Okay, I'll send you to that group real quick.
Okay.
And then I see a few other people that are unassigned. Courtney? Hi, Courtney, I'm Courtney.
Hey, Courtney, how are you doing?
Good. And so I'm trying to assign people to breakout groups right now. And when you registered, what did you select if that interests you the most? What group?
I think it was a section that said some development.
Okay. One second here. Hi, I had to hop in and allow you to record.
Why, thank you. All right. And I thought it would be fun if we could have everybody just introduce themselves if you want in the chat. And so we can.
I think in terms of the large park, I think, you know, I personally would not just be interested in a big open green space. I think having, you know, whether it's, you know, you know, various types of recreational opportunities or, you know, I think certainly, you know, in connection with the food desert, you know, there might be opportunities for community gardens or, you know, other types of, you know, I don't think there's a lot of value independent of this particular property in just having a big open green lawn, particularly given we're, you know, in a high desert kind of climate and all of those issues. I think that there's much more that could be done.
Yeah, if you only had, you know, 40 or 60 acres to do with as an open space or park, what would you do with it? Well, no, let's reset the expectations that, you know, there is a very strong case for retaining the.
Let's see here. See, I'm trying to find you. Sarah, did you log in with a different name?
What am I coming up as? No, I don't know. I was doing it quickly, so it could have been whatever auto-filled. Are you not seeing me anywhere?
I am. I do see you. One second here. You don't have share screen at the bottom? Oh.
I have it. It just says it's disabled. Will you record all feedback? Not in summary. Yes. Christine, you asked whether we would report all the feedback, including, I'm assuming those in other summary or in other breakout groups. We definitely will have all of the feedback combined together into one report after this meeting.
It should work now, Sarah.
It does. All right. I feel like we're officially in business now. We do have somebody on the phone. If you'd like to just very quickly introduce yourself, because I know you're not able to do so on the chat. So you joined us a little bit late. We are going to be viewing a Miro board, and essentially I'm going to be asking questions, and we're going to be recording your responses if everybody can see, most everyone can see, we have these little sticky notes here, and we'll record your stuff. So I'm sorry.
Not a problem. Oh, there we go.
Okay, now we're back on the record.
There we go.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, so now maybe we can start with official introductions.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shanta. So, Marilyn, since you were getting ready to start, did you want to go ahead and start us off with introductions?
Sure. I've been trying to follow the process, and I don't feel like I know too much to have much of an opinion, so I'm mostly just going to listen tonight. But given the question I answered, I did my best to answer. I think this should all be parks, but just wanted to listen to more conversation tonight. So thanks for letting me join your group.
Welcome. Jackie?
I'm a Park Hill. I've been in Park Hill for 40 years. And I've seen it develop and develop all around. And I have an environmental background, and I would like to see 155 acres of open space, especially as housing and all these other things are going in areas surrounding the park. That's it.
Maria.
Hi, I'm Maria Flora. I am a longtime Park Hill resident. I'm a member of Save Open Space Denver. I'm also on the Greater Park Hill Board and chair of the Parks and Open Space Committee of Greater Park Hill. I've been working to try to save this open space for, 3 or 4 years now. And it's absolutely essential for the health of our city that this be preserved as open space. There will be development to the north. There will be high rises. There will be retail, there will be affordable housing, there will be all of that. It's going to spring up north of the golf course, and it will be developed. We don't need to develop this 155 acres with all of the mature trees and the potential that it has. The needs will be filled in this neighborhood, and it will densify, but hopefully not on our open space. Thanks.
Suzanne, did you want to just give another brief introduction?
Sure. My name is Suzanne Tate. I've been a Park Hill resident since 1967. I am concerned about the loss of open space in the city of Denver. I'm concerned about the densification of Denver. And I would really like to see this last large open space in our neighborhood remain a park. That's my feelings about it.
Amy.
Thank you, Ms. Shanta. I'm Amy Harris. I also serve on the Greater Park Hill Board. I represent District 1, which is where the golf course is located. I moved to Park Hill in 2018, but I was born in Denver, and I'm a 5th generation Coloradan, so I've been around. And I primarily got involved in this conversation because I live right across the street. I live just south of the golf course, and I go out on the golf course almost every day. I walk on it. I've already started a great discussion.
Okay, we've heard the recording now. Yeah.
All right, and so hopefully you can see my screen. Oh, great, and I have controls on the screen too. Those weren't happening before.
So basically my little diatribe wasn't recorded.
I think it was worth repeating, frankly. Let's get that on the record.
I did hear some key points that I did hear was just having a place that's affordable to go for families, especially families with kids and want to get the kids in the sport. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. There isn't anything that is affordable in the area anymore because Fitzsimmons closed, Center Tech is closed. And even for an individual not wanting to pay $60, $70 to golf. I have, what is it at City Park now? 68? Dirk, do you know? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I got to play it one time. There was a cancellation last minute, and I took my son up there, and we were just grateful to get on the course.
Yeah,
I was willing to pay whatever they asked.
Yeah.
it wasn't cheap. It wasn't municipal level affordability for sure. I mean, I grew up playing like a Center Tech and Aurora Hills, and those were very accessible to the community, and they're not anymore. And the Lowry course is private now, so that's not very. That was a base when I was growing up.
You know, hoping that this will be made into a regional park. I'm also a member of SOS and Save Open Space Denver. And I'm also on the Greater Park Hill board. So, you know, like I said, I'm not going to reiterate everything that's been said here because I share everybody's views for the space. I believe that there are areas in the surrounding neighborhood immediately surrounding the golf course, as well as, you know, within a few blocks scattered throughout the neighborhood that could fulfill the community's needs for grocery stores, you know, healthcare offices, whatever it is that we need. There's space to do that without having to sacrifice this last large parcel of beautiful green space. So those are my thoughts on it. So let's get ready to jump right in. Bonnie, I know that you're just here to listen, so I won't ask you to say any more at this point.
Don't forget Harry.
Huh?
Don't forget Harry.
Oh, Harry, shoot. Why aren't you on my screen? That's the problem. Hold on.
Okay. Well.
Oh, there you are. I'm so sorry, Harry.
All right. I'm the invisible man.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Well, my name is Harry Doby, and I've been a Denverite for about the last 41 years. I also live directly across from the Park Hill Golf Course land. Enjoyed the beautiful view for a few years until I got drew the short straw and got the detention pond. But my vision is, as shared with the rest of you, to see all 155 acres remaining for recreation, open space, you know, parks, walkable, bikeable, swimmable. I mean, we could have all sorts of recreation on this site simply because the base assumption that it needs to be developed has become obsolete. What we have seen is that, as Shanta was mentioning, there are 2 active projects that are going to provide
of the Park Hill community. You lose some of the character and some of the background and some of the anchor of what a community can become. That's not to say that young families can't bring that, but there is both a history and I think a sense of support of community. Yeah, there's a sense of community that our elders bring to a neighborhood that is absolutely vital. And I think that's some of what we're losing in some of the gentrification we've seen. And we're not just losing, you know, young couples and families per se, but we're also losing some of the history and character of that community. I'll say this really quickly. I can't tell you how many times people pass through our parking lot at New Hope and look up having no idea what they're looking at. And there are a lot of ways to take that, but the way it lands on me is that we are losing some of the character and the identity of that community. And I believe
diabetes, heart disease, overweight. And this is well indicated in the city's health department assessment of vulnerabilities by neighborhoods. So ability to recreate and exercise. And this is not just places and ball fields for younger people, but also for seniors. In particular, there's a need for walking paths that are easy for them to maneuver. There might be a need for certain multiple age-appropriate exercise circuits, and that's an important consideration, the public health issue about exercise. Another thing that's, I agree very much with the whole issue of needing trees. The city has done a survey ranking neighborhoods by their vulnerability to heat. In fact, the city has a 2021 neighborhood heat vulnerability index, and Northeast Park Hill.
Good timing. And again, so the goal, as I see it, is to preserve all the acreage for parks and recreation due to the high density development that is happening immediately across the street, across the walkway, down the street, affordable housing. We're going to get more mixed use market rate housing in this neighborhood, not on Park Hill Golf Course land itself. And as far as a grocery store, the city has again commissioned a marketing survey, which indicates that no major chain sees enough market. There's too much competition. When you have Park Hill Supermarket across the street, you've got King Supers on Quebec, you got Walmart on Quebec, you got another King Supers just a couple of miles to the north. They don't want to build another one here. So even if they were given the opportunity, we're not going to get a grocery store. So that's my little spiel.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. So let's jump right in with the first question. And you guys, I know you know how to play nice and raise your hand or however if you need to jump in, but it would be preferable to raise hands so that we're not talking over each other, okay? So what does all the parks and open spaces vision look like to you? That's very weirdly phrased.
Yeah, I agree. I think she got the and the all reversed.
Yeah.
I would say what does
the all parks and open space vision look like to you?
Perfect.
Yeah.
So how do we make a comment here? How do we fill in one of these sticky notes?
Owen is actually going to do that, right, Owen?
Yep, I'll be your scribe as best as I can, so you guys can communicate with each other, and I will try to capture it.
I have to say something about the importance of the tree canopy, preserving the tree canopy.
Amy, you'll be next after Maria.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure. I was actually just experimenting, but thank you.
Go ahead, Maria.
And Shanta, sorry to interrupt. I think for some reason, the Zoom wouldn't allow Owen to record, but it will give you permission to record.
Oh.
So I don't understand why, but if you could record, and then I will work with you offline to get those files transferred.
Okay, so where do I do that? Oh, here we go. There it is. Okay.
All right. And I'm hopping around to different groups playing tech support. So I will be back. Let me know if it doesn't work, technology, right? Thank you.
I push the button. It says it's doing it. Okay. Okay, Maria.
That was the big thing that I wanted to emphasize is the tree canopy, and then somebody else can fill in another sticky note.
Amy?
Thank you. Community gardens. That's huge for me. More pavilion type space. Like we have our little pocket park, Axum Park, and it is booked every weekend. So I'd love to have some more pavilion space for, events, celebrating birthdays and things like that. Maintaining the walking paths so that there's big open space to go take a nice long therapeutic walk or run or push in your stroller or whatever, walking your dog, whatever you want to do out there, but having a good long walk out there in nature. Preserving the duck pond is really personally important to me because it supports so many different species of birds, and it's like in the middle of the city, yet you have this like connection to nature. And I'd love to see some ball fields out there too, whatever that is. I don't know what the most popular sport is with the kiddos now. I'm not a parent myself, but supporting kids being able to play outside. So playgrounds, ball fields, things like that. That's part of what excites me most.
Awesome. I'd like to see some nice seating areas as well, you know, for, you know, after you go on one of those long, beautiful walks, you get tired, you want to have a sit down. I'd like to see that. Anybody else?
I'd like natural biodiversity protection, you know, more grasses and, I mean, to go, you know, as well as trees, but so, you know, and the duck pond is part of that, so that you have birds and other species and wildlife and natural plants. I mean, nature take its course in a lot of it. So, and then maybe the trails go through the natural habit ecosystems.
Anybody else? Are we ready to go to the next question? I'll take that as a yes. Okay, why is this vision most exciting to you?
I think I could jump in just with one thing I think is really important, which I learned from the Parks Department, which is that Northeast Park Hill is one of the most underserved communities in terms of access to parks. Mm-hmm. So to give a park to a place that really needs a park is really exciting to me. And living right across from the golf course, sometimes I take my walks down south into South Park Hill, and God, is there a temperature change, my Lord. So it's hot in Northeast Park Hill, and we need some trees. We need some more trees and some more green to help alleviate that. So I'm really excited about having some better temperature control and relief in the summertime. So that's why it's exciting to me. And then just having a point of making it a point of community.
The things that's so weird.
Yeah.
So again, you know, it feels just like an exercise into, well, let's just do this. We've made our main minds up anyway.
Yep. And I'll tell you, speaking of your properties, Yvonne, and I've seen this on a kind of a very small local scale is when this sort of thing is not welcomed into the community and they push it through anyways, that sours the relationship from the get-go and for the long term. So these poor people that are moving into these areas, into these new developments, and so all around the neighborhood, they have these pop tops and scrape offs, and you know, they don't embody the culture of the neighborhood. They don't fit in, and then you have a homeowner that moves in there that they're not welcomed. And the developer's long gone by that time, and then that house turns over and over again, and for all time these properties become a blight on the whole community.
Absolutely.
You know, when this gets forced through, and so I don't know people who are for this that think this is a good idea. I mean, I know they think there's an opportunity to introduce things that might be missing, but it's very small scale, short-term perspective on that. I think they're just trying to get through this process, get that easement done away with, and then then they'll be able to do whatever they want with, and then they get their short-sighted win, and they're nowhere to be found afterwards. And when we're all left kind of holding the bag.
Yeah, exactly.
I've made some notes on some of your questions about the steering committee and some of their findings, and you know, can those be made more available, and how can those be shared? So I've made some notes that I'll pass along to our project management team, so that they're aware that you know, not everybody is able to find those. And I see Courtney's actually here from our project management team.
Hi, I got your message. I just want to make sure everything was working okay. Hopefully, yes.
Well, you missed all of the brilliant conversation, Courtney.
I know, and I love golf a lot, so I'm kind of bummed. Except, so we went to City Park Golf this weekend. I have a young son that's in first tee, and part of the thing is teaching a child how to be careful with a golf club. And I thought, like, just never turn your back with a boy with a golf club first. That was what I did wrong, and he hit me in the back on accident. So I'm. You know, I don't know when we'll be back because my back hurts pretty bad.
No.
I know. It's kids. He's little. So you got to learn somehow. Just, I paid the price.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what questions did you have about the steering committee?
Well, my understanding is that the way this process is working is there's a group of steering committee leaders who are supposed to be going around and collecting feedback from the community, and then that's where are we? And is that actually what's happening? Is that information get brought back to these groups, and we get the information get disseminated? I mean, that all seems to be going on behind the scenes, way behind the scenes. Like we don't. The public doesn't seem to be being informed of that, or participating in that. Who's getting asked? I sure as heck haven't been approached or interviewed at all.
Mm-hmm. The steering committee is just one of 4 avenues of input in this public process. Have you been like on the website? There's a lot of different ways the community can get engaged, whether it's through the community navigators, and that was implemented and administered by Denver Metro Community Impact, which is a local nonprofit. And really, they were targeting the hard to reach populations that we wouldn't hear from without their engagement. The Latinx community, lower income communities around the golf course. And they were going out and specifically having these conversations. Those who don't feel comfortable interacting with the city for whatever reason, using that organization as a backbone, local trusted partner. And they're talking to those marginalized or those we don't typically hear from. Another aspect is the steering committee, and they are diverse demographically. They are engaging in the conversation at a more detailed level than what we're able to do in these public meetings. We also have had a community survey that was open from March to May, that was open to anybody in the community online. Also, this is our second public meeting. We have online comment cards if you just want to submit a comment. So we talk about on the website that there's a multitude of ways that anybody in the public can get engaged at different levels, depending on how much they want to be involved or where they are.
Okay, thanks for that information. So a marginalized group has been contacted directly. And then what was the second avenue that you mentioned? I know that the survey is another one, and then comment cards.
Yeah, we have
3 of the 4. What was the 4th one?
So we have virtual, online, like the comment form that you can just provide input at any point. The survey, you have the community navigators, and then the steering committee is another input. They talk about things in a more detailed level.
Right. So I guess my understanding of it all would be all those inputs are compiled together and presented and gone over in a more structured format, the steering committee, and they meet offline, or when do we get to view that, or is that open to the public? Or
yes, all those meetings are open to the public, and you can watch past meetings. They're all recorded and available on our website. So there's links to every single meeting that they've had, very transparent. All the information that the community navigators collected, that's in the community voice report, a link to that is on our website. Everything the community has said and all the input is available for the public, completely 100% transparent.
Awesome. And do you know when the next steering committee meeting is?
August 17th.
I've never seen any. Okay, and that's linked somewhere that I can register to attend that?
You can attend, and so it's meant for steering committee members to to discuss in more detail. It's open for the public to observe, but there's not direct participation. There is a public comment session at the end, so you can, an opportunity for the members of the general public to address the steering committee. But the steering committee is made of community members. They're not paid. This is, they're not elected, right? So just keep that in mind. And then with that, I'm gonna let you guys know that we have, we need to be wrapping up here. So hopefully you've moved through all of the questions. And Kathleen, you were able to record those?
Yes, we'll, do we have, is it like 5 more minutes?
I would say like 2 more minutes, and I'm gonna broadcast that to the rest of it.
Okay, I think we've had, thank you, Courtney, so much for all this information. Yvonne and Dirk, I think we've actually covered a lot of some of these topics, but maybe we have 2 more questions, maybe just to double check in on what excites you about this vision of all golf for the site. And then the other is, what are some of the must-haves? I think we have talked about some of these a little, but are there any that you really want to highlight on these 2 questions?
Well, I do have a question, because on the Park Hill Golf Course Reimagine website, it talks all about 60 acres of usable park space and commitment to diverse housing options and bringing displaced families back. I am not seeing anything on there about keeping it a golf course or keeping it as a open space. So to kind of pile on to what Dirk says, it seems like the decision has already been made. So go ahead.
I think you might be looking at the developer's website, and which is different from the city's website, where we have information about this process that's going on and the community visioning process, the steering committee, their meetings and all of that information. And that is different from the developer's website.
But how is it different? Because he owns it.
Because they need to come to the city to get the approvals. So the city is very committed to having finding out what the community vision is, dialing into that, sharing that information with our elected officials. And so that is, so the developer can create his own website, but that's not what the city is doing.
I understand that, but then how did he get approval for it to even be developed? I guess if there was I don't know, executive order or something that said it's supposed to be green space for 20 years. So, but not discussion on this. So we'll go back to the topic of what excites you about the all golf vision for the site. And so I don't know that there is an all golf vision.
But if you had, or as you think about all golf, what I heard earlier, you were saying families, something that's accessible, affordable, that is for the local community, is something like that what excites you? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
And that's exactly it. Someplace that has, someplace for, when Courtney spoke about her young son whacking away with his club. Well, once he's done with first tee, where does he go? If you've got a young family then who wants to take their kids out to experience golf on a 9 or an 18 hole basis, you can't do that at City Park. You can't do that at a lot of places. So that would excite me, is not making it into a championship foo-foo golf course like City Park turned into, but keep it a community golf course. And Denver does it all the time. They own Evergreen. Evergreen is a community golf course. And it's quite affordable. Dirk, have you ever played there?
I've never played Evergreen, no.
You have to go.
I look at it on the app all the time, so I'll have to check that out. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah. So my vision would be, don't make it a championship course. Make it, restore it to what it was, a training facility
All right. Welcome back, everyone. We've got a few folks joining us back in. Hopefully you were able to get through most of the questions. And if not, I'm sure the conversation that you had was really good. We're going to take a few minutes and present. And so if you would do me a favor, if you're presenting for your group, if you would just put your name in the chat really quickly, and then what I'll do is just go through the chat and call one person at a time to speak for your group. And so, Sarah, if it's okay, since you responded, you know, can I call on you for your group, if that's okay with you? All right. And so, and as we're doing that, we'll start with Amy Harris to report out, and we'll just go down.
Hi, folks. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Hi, I'm reporting for Group 1. I was there with the folks who would like to keep the space 100% open space. And in answer to the first question, which I think was, you know, why it was important or what we see for our vision of the open space, there's a lot that we talked about. There were a lot of different ideas, and they ranged from just total just nature, just having access to nature, like around the duck pond area, and having, you know, areas where we can encourage pollinators and that sort of thing, all the way to the, you know, maybe another side, which is recreational areas where, did I get muted?
Oh, we got you, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that was my bad. I'm so sorry, I was trying to mute someone else.
Oh, that's okay. So the other side of things was, you know, recreation for kids, and walking paths was really important, not just for walking, but for also bicycling and running, and, you know, just kind of being out in nature, having more areas also to just sit and be, you know, just kind of take it all in. So that was kind of the vision of it was really broad. And then the reason why it was important, the themes that came out from my perspective were the lack of tree canopy, of course, in our neighborhood, the lack of access to walkable parks, just the fact that this is something that we really need in our community, and not just in Northeast Park Hill where I live, but also for the other communities that surround Northeast Park Hill, like Globeville and Clayton and some of these other areas too. And that it's exciting to have this vision of a true gathering place for people to have a respite from the development and the traffic and the concrete and the heat and the, you know, just the intensity of city living, and to have a place of respite and a place of recreation and a place where we can just, you know, be and enjoy and celebrate and feel the grass on our feet and breathe in some fresh air. And air quality was another thing that came up. So for some of the must-haves, just to wrap up, I think it was basically just what I talked about. It's a mix of being able to really have a space to truly like take a good long walk, you know, instead of just having a little pocket park, but then also having like some play areas for kids, and, you know, some ball fields and some recreation for kids, and then just pure nature, just pure unadulterated nature where you can actually enjoy the natural wildlife that we have in this area, and that's becoming increasingly rare. And I'm sure my group will come in the chat and they will let me know if I missed anything. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Yes, and feel free to use the chat to add to the commentary if you feel like there are some important things that need to be shared. Next, I'd like to move to Sarah for your group, if you're okay with presenting, and if not, somebody from the group, since you guys didn't have a nominated name. Sarah, is it good for you?
That's my bad.
All right.
If my group is okay with it, I will share, but okay, I see a few, okay, fine. Obviously add into the chat if I miss anything. I think we had others, we didn't necessarily have one persuasion or the other for the site. We had a lot of different inputs, but really they were all around just the opportunity that the site provides the community with, whether that's opportunity for, I heard respite coming from the other group, that certainly came up in our group, just for open space, for sports fields, for community gathering opportunities to have the community in the neighborhood feel like they have ownership in the site. And there was certainly a desire to see from several folks to see development on the site that allowed for that ownership to happen, primarily through economic opportunity, through businesses and jobs being made available and accessible to people in the neighborhood, to residential options for seniors, for a wide range of ownership opportunities, not just I don't think rental came up for us, but I don't think it would be excluded either. Trying to think of that might help to look at my Miro board to see what else I might be missing here.
Sarah, I shared your Miro board with the group.
Oh, is that what I'm
saying? Hopefully everyone
Yes.
can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that would be easy.
Oh, because of the pink things that threw me off. All right. Yeah, and just some thoughts that just the opportunity, what excited people is just the opportunity to come together as a community, not to feel divided, but to work together to find a solution. Everybody has invested in property and their lives around the site, and to acknowledge that and to work together to find the best, the best outcome for the site, I think is.
Yeah, and Sarah, I'll just add to that. I think I was also part of that group, and this is Jay Kane speaking, but what I heard was that, there is no either or within our group, but I think some of us really stress the opportunity for economic prosperity for Black and Brown. Mm-hmm. And then also, there was also a compromise of, senior living along with providing or preserving some of that open space. So I don't think it was like all open space or just all business, but just working together to find opportunities to kind of, meet everybody in the middle.
Right on.
What's kind of what I heard, and anybody can jump in if they feel free to.
All right, thank you guys so much. If there's anything else from that group, please put it in a chat. We're gonna keep us rolling here. And Muhammad Khan.
Sure. So I was on the large park and some development group 1, and we talked about the idea of affordable housing, basically multi-use options for this property, and a place where the community can come together and be together. So it's like an activated park, which is not just an open park. There's space there to hold a farmer's market or a live music or something like that. At the same time, having grocery store or an affordable housing, attainable housing, where we can come together, and some business and some open space. And second question was, why is this vision most exciting to us? So one part that I see here is the wealth building, and the other part was this is we can actually go in and plan amenities around the neighborhood while keeping the charm and actual character of the neighborhood intact. So that was something that was talked about a couple of times. There was also, again, the theme of bringing the community together. We don't have an official community space right now. We typically go to schools and stuff like that. So there was that as well. And for the must-haves, I think this was a great point: constant communication between the community members who live within half a mile or 1 mile radius. So they need to be updated on what's happening, what's going to be happen. So again, the community portion was very strong theme in all these questions that I see here. There was a lot of talk about affordable housing, and There were a couple different definitions from the participant. One was people who live in the neighborhood, they should be able to afford and buy and not price out of the neighborhood. At the same time, people who cannot afford the higher price point of the houses should still be able to afford houses in the neighborhood. And at the same time, grocery store and food market and park spaces. Basically a healthy balance between park and other grocery store and businesses. Am I missing something, team?
Well, thank you, Mohammed. And the same thing there. If at any time, please chime in and throw things into the chat. Thank you so much to you and your group. Sandy, let's move to you. Sandy?
Dr. Ross, why are you calling me? I'm not the speaker for my group. The speaker for my group is Nan.
Oh, okay. I think I wrote that down wrong.
No, no, I just wanted you guys to know that I was actually here. I'm just sitting here with Georgia Garnsey.
Oh, so I thought that meant you were presenting and you were hanging with Georgia.
No, so, I'm not. So I apologize for that. Hi, everyone. Hi.
All right, we'll go to Nam, and we won't count that in your time at all.
That's okay. It should be Sandy because she's a much better speaker than I. But I think Sarah, our kind of city leader, should probably put our mirror board up as well because I wasn't taking notes, not knowing that I would be representing everybody. Our group was 100% for open space. We started with that. We spent a great deal of time about providing opportunities for recreational things for youth to do. One of our members is heavily involved with the Park Hill Pirates, and that we talked a lot about how that kind of open space can work to engage kids in team sports and things that keep them attached. We also talked about how some sort of meeting place there could also help with working with youth in that neighborhood. We had a really interesting idea from someone about taking this lovely piece of land and connecting it with Swansea. There, I think I get this right, the 38th Parkway that just was built, and it's not quite green at all, but you can take a bike on it. And if that could get over Colorado Boulevard, that gives those areas that are so in need of open space access to a park that right now is about the size of Washington Park, which would be wonderful for this community that doesn't have that kind of park. Anyone else chime in from my group? Because my notes are limited.
Well, thank
Anyone
you.
Else?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we also kind of talked about some of the other, I know we did talk about a lot of it being green space. I wouldn't agree that everybody was all for green space, but
okay, sorry.
We also talked about like some of the other things that go on in the community that I know it was mentioned that, there are some environmental crises or even, mental health crises that we're dealing with. And so, again, me being a person that is boots on the ground with our youth and, kind of dealing with some of the youth violence prevention efforts that are going on in Park Hill, also seeing that, those types of public health crises don't necessarily get addressed and also seeing that an opportunity like this could actually help combat some of those things if we were creating opportunities for some of those young people or young families or families that are, kind of struggling through some of those things. And so we did have a more in-depth conversation about some of the remedies that could come out of both, opportunities. I know that, a lot of people may not agree with what I was saying with some of it, but I think it is just, again, an opportunity for different parts of the community to actually be heard about what they feel. I explained also that we've, got a location here on the 28th and Fairfax, and just kind of seeing that the opportunity that this space has actually created for a lot of businesses over here you know, that same type of opportunity could be created in a lot of ways. And so we talked through some of that as well. So
that's good. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Ryan, can I add one last thing? I think that one thing we all did agree on was that, or I think most people shared, that we'd love to hear more youth voice in the process and engaging more youth in general in decisions like this that really will affect them directly, whether or not it's recreation or employment.
Right on. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I'd also add real quickly, we talked about the importance of trees and the fact that we have so many mature trees on that Park Hill Golf Course land. And that land is going to be developed heavily around Colorado and 40th and all around the Park Hill Golf Course with affordable housing and many other developments. So those trees and that open space will really work for the health of the community.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
As far as the compromising about perhaps having a compromise between some development and some park space, I at least contributed to our chat that without the conservation easement, those people fighting for the Park Hill Golf Course land have no weapon. Loretto Heights did not have that, and the developer was able to do whatever they wanted with the land. And it is sad that there can't be a compromise, but there really can't. Without the easement, the developer has full say in what will happen to the land.
All right, thank you, Georgia. And then I'll point anybody else from your group to the chat if there's more to add. Let's move to Dirk.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So we were the golf group. And I'd say that we were as much of a, on the side of open space in its entirety, or just a strict advocate for the easement itself as we were for golf itself. So that we didn't think that development of any sort was a good idea. So is either golf or 100% open space. You know, I think we thought golf because that's what it is and what it should be. And if we're being forced into deciding something, would probably be just no development. I think we expressed some frustrations over the process to date, and the transparency and how the information is being collected and gathered. So we, if there's an opportunity to better communicate some of the findings through the steering committees or the navigators and how that all comes together and is compiled and how that information is used in the decision-making process, that'd be helpful. We felt like it's already been kind of a foregone conclusion that the easement is going to go away and that something else is going to happen, and that there hasn't been very much advocacy on the side of keeping the conservation easement, and that should be recognized as a valuable asset that is for the whole community, and that if we were to each and every one of us owns a part of that, and to take that away and transfer that over into private interest seems to be a problematic. So we were a little interested in learning a little bit more about where we stand in the overall process, and if there's any chance of getting some more information on what the easement means as an asset, how it would be valued, how it was determined that a 1 mile radius was who that easement impacted. I mean, we thought that a golf course draws from a heck of a lot more wider range than just 1 mile. So therein we're taking this community-wide asset and narrowing it down to a very specific select group of people to determine its future. I think that was about it. And obviously, anybody else that was in our group can chime in if they had more.
Sure, Dirk, this is Yvonne. And we also talked about currently there is a clubhouse type facility that is pretty large that people historically have used for birthdays, get-togethers, family reunions, etc. So there is an existing features there for those type of things. So you know, golf courses, you know, being a golfer, and it seemed like there isn't very many on this particular group, there isn't anything affordable anymore. Redoing City Park made that not affordable for a lot of young families who want to get their kids into a sport like that. So, you know, just, you know, personally, just an advocate for keeping the golf course.
Yeah, and we were curious why it's not currently being operated as a golf course. Is there a reason that it's not up and running during this process?
Yep. So Dirk, we'll have to follow up with that question offline, or shoot me an email. I'll put my email in the chat and I can get that question answered for you. I'll have to find the answer because I don't have it, but I'll put my email in the chat. I want to try to keep us on time and definitely keep us moving. Next up, we have Woody.
Hey, Woody, what group were you in again? I'm going to ask him to unmute. Hold on.
Somebody put in the chat, Woody was group 2.
Okay. There we go. Woody, you're still muted. There you go.
Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Sorry, I guess I'm speaking for group 2. All of us supported preserving 100% of the land as open space. We had one latecomer who came in who thought he was probably misassigned because we didn't know we were all going to be assigned with the groups, you know, who had a common interest. So he did express interest in some mixed use development, but our group, the consensus otherwise was we wanted to preserve the open space. It was, we talked about it being a citywide asset to have this big piece of land so near the Interstate 70 and in the industrial areas north of Interstate 70 that can be retained for the health and the public health and environmental benefits of open space, which are numerous. We talked about the need for the steering committee to have an entire presentation on the issue of the public health and environmental benefits of retaining the open space. We talked about the fact that there is substantial land west of Colorado Boulevard, including 50 acres that we've identified that have been purchased by 2 real estate developers in the general vicinity of the 40th and Colorado Light Rail Station that will be heavily developed with very dense development in the next 10 to 30 years. And that makes it all the more important for retaining this full open space as a park and recreational benefit for the immediate neighborhood. We talked about the fact that the 40th and Colorado Light Rail Station makes access to this land available throughout the city. If the city were to purchase the land for a public park, it could be accessed by everybody in the city in the light rail. We talked about the heat island effect of concrete and asphalt. We talked about the fact that once any bit of grass on that property is covered with concrete or asphalt, it will never again see the light of day. We said there are incredible physical and psychological and other health benefits of open space. And people were alarmed that there was any talk at all of breaking the conservation easement that the city purchased 23 some odd years ago for $2 million to retain it as open space. And people talked about it being preserved for the conservation purposes of the easements, which are open space and recreation. And you know, we talked about a lot of other details, but otherwise I think lot of it would be repetitive of what the other groups have said about retaining the open space.
All right, cool. Thank you, Woody. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. We're going to move to Andrew Webb.
Great, thank you. The group that I was helped facilitate was, yeah, there we go, group 3. So looking at possibilities for large park and development. And participants expressed some pretty interesting concepts, including visions for mixed income and affordable housing, especially that serves multiple generations and allows people to live in the area at all phases of their lives, mixed with an open space and park uses that could include sports fields, especially those lighted sports fields that can be used at night and in the evening. I heard a lot about the need for community serving businesses and retail in the area, especially grocery stores. One of the participants in our group really highlighted, and others agreed with the need to retain some indoor public event space like exists there now and has served churches and community groups and community events. And we also heard a really unique idea for looking at some of the concepts that were applied in a redevelopment in downtown Las Vegas that kind of brought some economic and entrepreneurial opportunities together with education that could potentially engage youth and entrepreneurs and create some opportunities for economic development. So certainly invite anybody else that was in that group to jump in and add to that if I missed anything.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Last but not least, we have Nam Henderson.
Yeah, thank you. The group I was a part of was for the large park and some development. A lot of things that have been touched on already. I think affordable housing was certainly key, but not just affordable housing, but affordable and affordable mixed housing and sort of a planned development. So, things like, again, not just all the housing and, all the affordable housing in one spot, all the commercial in one spot, a real kind of mixed planned community. I think, a grocery store was certainly called out. Other things that could address the food desert issue, such as, community gardens, et cetera, were mentioned. Certainly, I think a key theme was active recreation, not just a big open green lawn, but actual active recreational opportunities. People have mentioned, different types of courts or a rink was one of the things that was called out in our group. I think the main reason this vision is exciting to the group was because it can at least begin to address longstanding inequities in investment and development in the community. I think certainly it's an opportunity to rebuild the street grid, to reconnect or increase connectivity between the neighborhood and the 40th and Colorado Station and other surrounding neighborhoods. But again, that idea of sort of equitable development and sort of beginning at least to address some of those inequities that have longstanding historic nature was a key theme of why this vision is exciting to us. In terms of the must-haves, some of those are pretty similar to some of the answers to the first question. Certainly affordable housing, a full service grocery store was a theme. Again, that active recreation, a rink, courts, those kinds of things. I think one interesting idea that was mentioned was you know, to kind of speak to that sustainability issue, there was a mention, and this actually I think was part of the second question, but you know, community so one option was mentioned as something that could potentially be explored. You can see credit union was called out, but again, affordable mixed housing was definitely, I think, the biggest key theme in terms of a must-have, along with you know, a grocery store, a full-service grocery store, and other things to address that food desert.
All right,
that's what we got.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And again, thank you to everybody for your participation and sharing these thoughts. If you have any other things that weren't shared, please put those in the chat at this time. Just wanted to let everyone know that this information will all be captured and placed on the website, which Courtney has placed in the chat. And I'll ask Courtney if you would just post that one more time. So it's at the bottom of the chat right now. That's where you'll be able to go to see this information. And actually see all the information that we have from previous meetings, minutes, and things of that nature. So please check that out. I want to say thank you to all of the community members who showed up tonight and shared your voice. I think that's just extremely valuable and helpful. And as I said, when we opened, you could be anywhere. So thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts and spending time. Thank you to the steering committee members who are here actively engaging in the facilitation of the conversation. Definitely share this with other steering committee members. And most importantly, again, just have to underscore thanks to the community again. So we are a few minutes over time by about 5 minutes, so I won't belabor anything else other than my appreciation. And bid you all a really great evening. And I'll put my email address in the chat one more time should you have a follow-up question, or feel free to reach out to Courtney and we'll get your questions answered. So again, thank you so much for being here this evening. Appreciate all you do, and enjoy the rest of your evening with your families or whatever it is you do. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.